Salamat kay nananhimo kuan niyo balibari ang nagtawag ninyo na ani kay aron malibawan ninyo kung unsa ang mga health benefits ani ato ang products sa for life. Atong sugdan katong uman na ba natagan na tanan sa glutamine? Have you received glutamine prime at yan na lahat? May sample na? Okay. The others who are not yet seated, please occupy the empty chairs available for us. Thank you. So we shall start. Now this is our logo, the For Life logo. So let us start with the immune system. Diba pag na-invite kayo, madalas na sinasabi immune system? So it is so important that I should discuss to you what the immune system is. The immune system is a protein complex, proteina ni siya, which weighs about 1 kilogram, and this is so vital in our bodies since it protects us from any health hazards that could invade our bodies. Lahat naman tayo, di ba, we are so exposed with all these health hazards from bacteria, virus, fungi, not only those, pati na sa mga air pollution. We are so much exposed. So our immune system plays a vital role against these health hazards. For the immune system to function optimally, one has to maintain a healthy lifestyle and he or she should have a good nutrition. Very important talaga ito. Now, where in our organs are the immune system is? We have the tonsils and the adenoids. We have the lymph nodes. Now, we have several lymph nodes in our bodies. We have the submental lymph nodes under our chin. Then we have the axillary lymph nodes dito sa ating kilikili. Then we have the inguinal lymph nodes dito sa ating tawag dito sa ganing Sir Israel sa Bisaya. Bugan. Oh, tama si Ma'am Bugan. Very good. Oh, they are usually enlarged when there is an infection. Kasi they are the ones who fight against an infection or whatever foreign to our bodies. Tingala ka nga, nasamad ko dito sa akong tumagko sa bigto, nganong naghubag man diri, mo na to siya. Kay response na to sa infection dito sa bigto, muna nag-produce ang lymph nodes nag-function. So your immune system is functioning. Others are the thymus here in this area. The spleen is also responsible in the production of the immune system. Then the Peyer's patches, which is found in the ileum of the small intestine. We also have the appendix, yan sila. Then the bone marrow. Then the lymphatic vessels are responsible wherein the lymph nodes flow. Itong mga lymphatic drainage, diha nagmag-agian. We have two types of immunity, the innate and the acquired immunity. The innate, of course, both physical barriers from our skin and the mucous membranes. On the cellular level, we have the polymorphonuclears, the monocytes, the macrophages, and the eosinophils. Kani sila, they are part of the white blood cells. So when you have a CBC, nana sila dito na monocytes. If you try to look into your CBC results, we have the polymorphonuclears, which is elevated when there is an acute infection. Acute but pasabot bag-o. Dili acute nga dugay na. That's usually the misinterpretation among the lay. Pag mo iyon gani nga acute, bago pa lang siya. It only takes 2 or 3 days or a week. Pag mo iyon na gani nga chronic, the difference, the opposite of acute is chronic. So when we say it's chronic, dugay na siya. Siguro it already took 3 months or more. Wala na siya ang chronic. But for acute infections, we have elevation of the PMNs or the polymorphonuclears, and the monocytes are usually elevated when there's chronic infection. Also, eosinophils are elevated when there's parasitism. O na sila, saka na siya, or when there is an allergy. Okay. We also have the chemical barriers, the pH, the lipids, and the enzymes. It's in our blood. Okay. In acquired immunity, ganun din. We have the cellular level, the humoral and the cellular, the humoral, the B cells and the antibodies, and the T cells on the cellular level and the lymphokines. How is this differentiated? During our innate immunity is usually during birth. We have innate immunity because we got it from our mother. So if your mother is healthy, your immune system is also healthy. But in acquired immunity, we get it when we are at birth, when you're already exposed to so much health hazards. Now, your immune system will function. As in cases of, what's this, immunization, that's already acquired immunity. Next. We have the primary and the secondary immune response. We'll differentiate the two. In primary immune response, an example could be when there's a cut in the skin. So in number 1, when you have a cut on the skin, of course, there's an opening, there's an entry of bacteria. What does our blood do? Macrophages come into the area where there is an opening. So dito sila magtapok. That's the first event or first reaction of an entry. So, pag inana, nagusugod ng infection. So, in number 2, blast cells will produce an inflammation. So, more macrophages are being produced. Magtapok na sila dito on the area where there is a cut. And then, when there's of course an inflammation, muhubag. So, in number 3, those foreign substance or the bacteria, buta na lang nato bacteria, will be chopped by the macrophages to become an antigen. So something that is foreign. And then when it becomes an antigen in the lymph node area, or number 4, the lymph node will produce, the T cells and the B cells will produce specific antibodies against the antigen, which was chopped in number 3. So there will be a fight between the antigen and the antibodies. And so, more B cells will produce more antibodies against that. Then, when there's already a reaction between the antigen and antibody, they begin to engulf the bacteria, which a process which we call phagocytosis. So then in number 6, there is more killing of the bacteria. Then in number 7, the platelets now come into play with their role by producing a clot, and then the skin, the area will begin to dry. So there's healing. So that's how our immune system plays during a primary immune response. In the secondary immune response, you will notice that there are only 6 steps. Why? Because the lymph nodes, the antibodies now recognize the specific antigen because it has been exposed, it has experienced the previous exposure before. So nakilala na niya, na-recognize niya, there is a recall, and then pag na-recognize kailan na ko ani, mauni siya nga klase nga bacteria or kagaw or virus or whatever that sets into the body, kabalo na ko ani. So diretso na, nag-shorten na. By number 4, nag-phagocytosis na siya, engulf na niya. So we only reach up to step 6 because they already know the specific antibody against that foreign substance. So that's the secondary immune response, and this is how our transfer factor plays. Now this is our transfer factor. We have the light blue, which is 300 milligrams, and this is plain transfer factor. And the transfer factor plus, which is darker blue, it has component herbs. Now before we go into the specific components of transfer factor plus, thank you, Sir Joey. Let us first discuss what transfer factor is. Now transfer factor are small molecule bases about 3,500 to 6,000 in molecular weight. It consists of RNA attached to a peptide. They are composed of a number of amino acid residues with multiple combination patterns. So, multiple, ibig sabihin, marami sila. And will create a vast number of different transfer factor molecules. So, since it's multiple, dumadami ng dumadami. Necessary to transfer immunity to each specific antigen in order to gain a specific immunity. So specific talaga. As we have said in our immune responses, the immune system produces a specific antibody against the bacteria or something that's foreign or antigen. So ganun ang ginagawa ng transfer factor. May specificity siya. So further, before that, let's go into the history. It was discovered in 1949 by Dr. Sherwood Lawrence. He extracted blood specimens from donors who have developed immunity from tuberculosis. T cells were extracted from these donors and was injected to a person who never had tuberculosis before. After 2 days, the recipient or the receiver developed an immunity against tuberculosis. He then concluded that immunity is transferable from one person to another. He discovered that these strange cells attached to T cells were responsible for transferring the immunity, hence the name transfer factor. Okay, ganito yun. Let me explain this to you further. Si Sir, pangalan ni Sir?
Joey po.
Si Sir Joey, before had contacted tuberculosis. Example lang ito, sir, ha? He never said that you had tuberculosis before. Okay. Ngayon, he was treated. So, what happened? Because he's already treated, he's already free from tuberculosis, he is immune this time to tuberculosis. So, what did Dr. Sherwood Lawrence do? He extracted specifically the T cells from your blood and gave it to Ma'am Lucita. Oh, what happened to Ma'am Lucita? Nag-observe sila. Nag-observe ni Dr. Lawrence how what happened to Ma'am Lucita. After 2 days, yes, after being injected with the T cells, specifically the T cells, you developed immunity against tuberculosis. No matter how much you were exposed to tuberculosis, you will never get tuberculosis because his immunity was transferred to you. Hence the name transfer factor. Nandyan yan sa transfer factor natin, ang T cells. So tinutulungan yung katawan natin. So that's how transfer factor was discovered. Tinawag pa niyan strange because at that time he was still studying, and then he discovered, he was amazed how the recipient developed immunity, so that he called it strange kasi na-amazed siya. Okay. Hindi amnesia, ha? Amnesia, but amazed. He was amazed. Okay. So, let's proceed, no? Pupukaw lang to. Let's go into the mechanism of action. Kung makita ninyo sa mga doctors, no, we have a guide. What we call this guide is the means. We usually look into the means. Ito makita ninyo unsay mechanism of action sa mga tambal. So here also in our transfer factor, we also have the mechanism of action. Now, what are the mechanism of action? It educates naive immune cells about the present or potential threat existing in the body along with its plan of action. So, if there are cells in your body which is not functioning very well or siguro sleepy lang, patulog-tulog, what does transfer factor do? It will have to ano tawag niyan? Gigisingin, pupukawon niya. Oh, you wake up because there's a potential threat coming to our host. So we have to make a plan of action on what to do. So that's one of the mechanism of action. Another one is that it speeds up the recognition phase of a health threat. So while ginigising niya yung mga cells, it also helped to recognize the specific threat. Halimbawa, bacteria, virus, parasite, fungi, or allergies, or tumors. Hoy, let us plan action. Let us recognize what is specific is this. And with this, the duration of illness is shortened. So, how do you say that? When it's shortened, pinapaikli niya. Other function or mechanism is that it will boost the immune response. So, pinapalakas niya ang immune system. Or if when there is an overproduction of the immune system, dumadami, sinosuppress niya. Lalo pa yung transfer factor advanced or the light blue one. When there is overproduction, it should be balanced, so it has to be suppressed. As in cases of allergies, autoimmune diseases. That's their function. Okay. Another action is that it will promote the immune system's ability to remember past invasions. If you have been infected with dengue before, so it will help our immune system. Hoy, you try to recall because this host has been exposed to dengue before, so that when it already could recall or recognize, the duration of the illness is shortened. So mabilis. Okay. Up to this point, are there any questions? Baka meron kayong tanong dyan. I can answer. Wag lang muna yung consultation, ha? Because in Manila, I was told by Miss Eileen Tan, the manager, after my lecture, sabi niya, if possible daw, I shouldn't entertain questions during the time of lecture because the tendency is for you to make consultations. Later na lang ang consultations. What I mean, if you have questions up to this point of what we have talked about, so none, so we'll proceed. This is a study conducted wherein transfer factor will increase the natural killer cell activity. For the transfer factor advanced, it will increase your natural killer cell activity to 283%, while the dark blue one, or the transfer factor plus, will increase your natural killer cell activity to 437%. Ganun kataas. Compared to the other immune boosters, like the mangosteen, it will only increase to 70%. The IP6, 49%. Plant polysaccharides, 48%. The Echinacea, 43%. Shiitake mushroom, 42%. Cordyceps formula, 28%. Bovine colostrum, 23%. Phytonutrient, 21%. Aloe vera and noni, only 15%. Compared to our transfer factor. Where's the source of our transfer factor? From cow's milk and chicken egg yolk. That's the sources of our transfer factor. We extract the transfer factor from cow's milk and chicken egg yolk. What is the plus in transfer factor plus? It has beta-glucans. This is an important immune cell stimulator. It will increase and boost the macrophage activity. Diba ang macrophages kanina, I've shown it, they are the first line of defense. So the beta-glucans will increase the macrophage activity. And shiitake mushroom or lentillan will exhibit a strong immune response and will even aid in the prevention of heart diseases. Then we have the maitake mushroom. It has an antiviral, anti-tumor, and even has an anti-diabetic properties. Okay, that's why if we have elevated sugar, it's good to also give transfer factor other than boosting your immune system. Of course, you also have to give the other product, which is good for elevated blood sugar. Then we have the agaricus glassy, which is known to shrink tumors. It also has soya bean extract, which is an anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer. The aloe vera is also an anti-inflammatory, and the olive leaf extract will slow the duplication of tumor cells. So if there are tumors, it could probably also stop the growth of tumors. This is the product which contains 50% transfer factor, 50 milligrams of transfer factor, and is good for patients with diabetes. What are the components of glucose? It has Gymnema sylvestre, which is known to block out certain taste sensations, especially sweetness. So if you take glucose, you will not crave for sweets anymore. It also has Korean ginseng. It will reduce your blood sugar level, and of course, when your sugar level is decreased, blood clot is prevented. Vanadium will enhance the absorption of sugar and promotes good blood circulation. It also has chromium. It will enhance glucose and cholesterol metabolism of the liver. Then we have the bitter herb or ampalaya, which acts as a mediator between body cells and insulin. Then the Indian kino or Pterocarpus marsupium, it will regenerate and revitalize the beta cells of your pancreas. Specifically, the beta cells is the one responsible for the production of insulin. So our glucose will really function or will regenerate, revitalize the beta cells. Another product is cardio. This is for our heart problem. It has citrus broom. It is an herb which will discourage blood clot formation and will strengthen weak blood vessels and will even regulate your blood pressure. Ginkgo biloba will increase circulatory oxygenation to the heart and brain. That's why this is given to patients who are having memory loss, because it improves the circulation from the heart to the brain. Then magnesium is very essential in the assimilation of calcium and potassium. This is also a good blood pressure regulator and will contribute proper nerve and muscle impulses to the heart. So, maganda ang circulation ng inyong heart if you take cardio. Selenium works well with vitamin E to scavenge free radicals, preventing cellular mutation. We will speak about free radicals or talk about free radicals later. Okay. Selenium is very good. It's in our cardio. It is very important also for the heart. And potassium will strengthen heart muscle because when potassium is depleted, a condition which is called hypokalemia, it will cause heart irregularities. And there are several symptoms of this. You can have weakness, you can tremble, or any other problem which is due to a decrease in potassium. Hawthorn will regulate your blood pressure and will also normalize your cholesterol level in the blood. And is very good for angina. Niacin is vitamin B5, which is good for your lipid profile, your cholesterol, the good and bad cholesterol, And pyridoxine or vitamin B6 will enhance good cardiovascular health. It has garlic. Maraming components ang ating cardio. It even has garlic, which will correct circulatory insufficiency, and coenzyme Q10 will, when this is insufficient in our blood, we will have elevated blood pressure. Thereby, when our blood pressure is elevated, of course, heart problem comes in. So another one is that it also strengthens our muscles, especially the heart, and it will also increase our energy and stamina. Coenzyme Q10 does this. Then it has vitamins A, E, and C, another antioxidant, which will get rid of the free radicals in our bodies. Arginine will promote proper function of the inner lining of the blood vessels, thereby enhancing proper circulation. So if you have not experienced any heart problem yet, it is good to start with cardio for the heart, and it has antioxidants for free radicals. So I would say you start taking cardio. Katawa si Sir. No, I'm not actually promoting. I'm promoting good health. Dili siya advertisement sa ato ang product, but this is a promotion of good health. Rio Vida is another product. It is an antioxidant. We have two preparations. It is a juice, which is 500 ml, sa kamote, no? 500 ml. Then we have a sachet, which is 60 ml, 30 ml, no? 30 ml per sachet, but it is a box of 15. So what are the components of Rio Vida? It also has transfer factor. About 600 milligrams of transfer factor per 30 ml. So it's quite big. Okay. What is in Rio Vida? It has pomegranate. There was a study conducted that patients were given an ounce of pomegranate a day. Patients who have severe carotid artery blockages. The result was conducted for, the test was conducted for a year. And what was the result? The blood pressure did not only went down, but there was the reduction of the atherosclerotic plaque. Itong mga nagdahil na dito sa ato ang arteries and veins. But those who did not have, did not take, there was an increase of the plaque by 9%. So this is good for those with atherosclerosis or any other problem of the heart. Okay. It also has acai berry. These are the components of Rio Vida. Acai berry, it is an energy boosting. Si Sir, nagkainom ka ani? Unsa may imong experience? Energy. Grabe. Up to 12 midnight. Padili kapoy. Okay, so, ano lang na ha, pagpuwang lang na storya. Okay. So, if you also want to lose your weight, you also can take acai berry, and it's an anti-allergy. Also aids in stomach upset. And it has anthocyanin, which will protect the cell and make it strong against the invasion of free radicals. Muna ni antioxidants ni. And also it will improve mental function. So you can give this to patients who are having Alzheimer's. Improvement in the mental function. Okay. Blueberries stabilizes blood sugar. That's why they're asking, can we give patients with diabetes? Yes, because the blood sugar can be stabilized together with your glucose. Elderly berry will eliminate viruses responsible for colds and influenza. It also has a laxative property. If you have difficulty of moving your bowels or if you have constipation, you can take Rio Vida because of the elderberry in it. And it has also a good diuretic property. If you have difficulty of urination, and if you don't sweat very well, you will sweat. because of the elderberry. Another product is the bioEFA or the essential fatty acids. It has prostaglandin, which is an anti-inflammatory and at the same time had a blood clotting effect. If you want to lose weight, bioEFA is good because you won't crave for food. So it will prevent obesity. And of course, it will improve nutrient absorption. So paspas ang absorption sa imong cardio if you take this together with cardio. And it will improve respiratory function and will improve and retain vision. And there is a decrease of the uncontrolled cell growth in cases of tumors and will inhibit the growth of H. pylori. H. pylori is responsible for the production of, this is a bacteria, Helicobacter pylori, is responsible for patients who are having peptic ulcer. So if you want to inhibit the growth of H. pylori, you can take bioEFA. We have the 4-Life Transfer Factor Immune Spray. This is good if you spray if you have tonsillitis or if you have wounds, diabetic wounds or sores. Or if you have bed sores, you can spray transfer factor immune spray. It has transfer factor and it also has zinc and vitamin C. So paspas ang healing. The glutamine prime, this is the ones that was distributed by Dawn before our lecture. It is an amino acid and is a major source of fuel for the immune cells by increasing cell energy and will optimize the immune cell function. This one is good for patients who are having prostatic problems. The 4-Life Male Pro. It has sopalmetho, which will promote healthy urinary function, and the aceflavonoids, the selenium and lycopene will eradicate free radicals. This is for proper cell growth. So it is also an antioxidant. We have the beauty products. What are they? We have the Inumi lotion, we have the Inumi facial wash, the Inumi moisturizer, toner, and the, what else? The day moisturizer and the evening night moisturizer. So these are our beauty products. Now let's discuss free radicals. What are free radicals? As I've been mentioning it during the lecture. Now, free radicals are molecular structure that contains an unpaired electron. Ibig sabihin, wala siyang kapares. Nag-inusara ra siya. Because normal electrons tend to stay in pairs. For it is very abnormal na walang kapares. Ikagaya ni Sir Henry na okay lang kahit walang kapares, survive. Diba, sir? But for free radicals, it won't be for them. They look for a partner. So what happens when it looks for a partner? An unpaired electrode. So ang electron na walang kapares is driven by a potent chemical force which will compel it to find a mate. This instinct is so powerful that the searching molecules behave erratically, kumbaga nagwa-wild siya. So wild to cause cellular damage resulting to degeneration and or mutation. This will multiply through a chain reaction resulting to thousands of these cells. So as it multiplies, dumadami sila, which will badly damage the DNA code. And then the DNA codes are altered, then immunity is compromised. So bumababa na ang immune function. So what happens? Degenerative diseases come in. So what are these degenerative diseases? Sir, Israel, baka you could mention what are these degenerative diseases? Please name a few.
Like cancer?
Oh, yan. Cancer is one. Multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, even yes, no. The chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a complication of asthma. Yan sila. They are degenerative diseases. Even arthritis, they usually come when we reach the age of 50s and above, especially when we are exposed to these free radicals. And what are they? Yan. Wala na siguro here sa Davao kay hadlok na tanong. Nawala na niyo. Cigarette smoke is almost gone. Then you have the herbicides. Yan. If you are fans of orchids, okay, smoke or car exhaust, they are free radicals. Prescription drugs like cocaine, vitamin, even X-rays, gamma rays, and ultraviolet light. So much exposure to sunlight will give us skin cancer. Even rancid foods, animal fats, alcohol, caffeine, stress, the number one. Even heart diseases is a form of degenerative disease. Kasama na siya dyan, heart disease. Probably due to stress. Okay. Poor diet, usually using food additives, preservatives, and artificial sweeteners in our diet. Okay, what is bad in the artificial sweeteners? Why do we have to take this? Because it has aspartame, which contains phenylalanine and is so toxic and will manipulate and alter certain brain chemicals, resulting to behavioral changes and even seizure. When this is taken regularly, it will accumulate in the body, especially when taken with a high carbohydrate and low protein snack. I think you're familiar of this, kanang equal, the ones taken by diabetics. Instead of taking sugar, they put in equal, what else? NutraSweet, other. Splenda. It has aspartame. So that's the effect, behavioral changes. And pag-accumulate na seizure, sometimes we could say na, unsa man na siya, sa putol man na siya, tungod nga diabetic na siya, high blood na siya, not knowing that nasapot could be due to the aspartame. Kasi sige siya, butang ato, if he takes coffee 3 times a day, butangan. That's not good. So, delikado. Okay. Here is email. This is an email written I received last month. So I incorporate this. Let us read. I have a friend who is quite enamored with Diet Pepsi, taking 6 cans a day. Imagine 6 cans. And he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. He went blind, couldn't walk, had anger spells, etc. He was quite an intelligent, thoughtful person at the outset. It is very interesting as I also had a friend who drank a similar number, often with scotch, parisan pagidog alcohol, and he displayed similar symptoms. I thought at the time that he was suffering from a stroke, but it may well have been aspartame poisoning. He suffered personality change, also had anger management problems, and finally died. So morbid, no? As Bruce Lipton explained so clearly, when we are fighting disease or disability on one front, we are susceptible to an attack on another. So we were fighting against, diabetes. But because of this aspartame, another problem comes in. I have just watched Bruce's YouTube discussion with Rupert Sheldrake again this morning, and I urge anyone who has an art to spare to give themselves a treat and follow it. So much to appreciate and make. So you see, the patient was merely diagnosed as having multiple sclerosis, but it could be due to the Diet Pepsi because of the aspartame in it. Aspartame. So you should be careful. It's not only in our Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke or where you try to look, bago ka mo magbayad sa supermarket, you pick some juicy fruit, but look into it if there's aspartame. Nakalagay naman yan doon. Nakalagay yung aspartame, so never buy that. So I should say, if you want, better put brown sugar into your coffee. Natural lang yun. So, Another free radical is caffeine, cocaine, and amphetamine. Caffeine is what you get from coffee. Cocaine from your Coke, your RC Cola, your Pepsi Cola. Okay, it will stimulate the release of norepinephrine in the brain and will increase the energy. The user won't feel sleepy, so he becomes insomniac. So when he doesn't sleep, what happens? It will affect his mood. He becomes jittery, anxious, and fearful. And by taking this, it will also interfere the absorption of the B vitamins, iron, and magnesium, which is found in our cardio. So if you take a lot of coffee or Coke, the absorption of your cardio, mahal ba yung cardio? So you better wane from it now, I should say. Nainayan na natong tangtang, ha? Yan, alcohol. It is on your own risk. It is on your own risk. Alcohol will impede the normal digestive process, will inhibit the assimilation and absorption of certain B vitamins, which is also found in our cardio. It will affect the nervous system. Di ba murag mabuang ng mga palainom? Because the nervous system is already affected. And then, it will also depress the liver. That's the cause of cirrhosis. Okay, up to this point, I should say, as a health practitioner, together with our products, we should also try to avoid all these foods that I have mentioned. It's only up to your own risk. Kung ako, as I've said, how much does cardio, how much do you spend for cardio? Or how much do we spend for transfer factor? So if you want it absorbed well, we should avoid all these foods. Diba? Okay, that's why I have incorporated this in my lectures. Or wherever I go, even even not in for life, because sometimes I'm being called to give a talk, I always promote the good side, to promote good health. I always give this and what to avoid to have a healthy lifestyle. So up to this point, should I say there are questions? I could entertain questions.
Ito ka na po ba?
Sige ma'am.
Yung gamot-gamit sa diabetes and glucose.
Glucose.
Kasi may ginainom ako kay may diabetes na ako. May
Yes,
resita sa doktor ng metformin.
Yes.
Hindi ba magkontrali kung inuwa ng glucose?
But then you have to monitor. Kailangan, you should have your blood sugar tested. Diba? Us-us na di ay, hinahinay na tutantangon ng metformin.
Ako ko ang last month, 5.8
ang sugar nito.
sugar dito. Hindi na ako mag-inom mo metformin.
No, you should have to withdraw it, hinahinay lang. So how many times a day do you take?
Once a day.
One half tab ka na lang karon.
Hindi na ako mainom ko sa glucose.
Mag-inom gyapon.
Glucose to.
Kapila ka mag-glucose.
Dili kayo basi mag-lower ka. Kaya nakuha na ba yung ni Ate?
Teka, kapila man ka mag-inom sa glucose.
Wala pa ako nag-start kaya karoon nag-control. Basi ka mo palit ko sa ETA.
Ay, wala pa.
Wala pa.
Teka na.
Sige.
Kasi magtaas pa ba? Kasi pagbaba kanya itong 1988-11, nakuha ng kutok ba, na-hide po ko ng hospital ko, kaya nagsbaba.
Walang may insulin. Kaya, you reduce your metformin, 1/2 tablet na lang. Then you can take glucose twice a day na lang. Twice a day lang.
Hindi ka magbaba ka.
Kaya lang, monitor natin. Over 2 weeks, papakuha na po.
Sige, thank you.
Okay.
More questions? Kasi mas maayo
Consultation na ni.
supplement lang siya, supplementation na o repair ang system na.
I should say, it's not supplementation. treatment with siya. But if you have started with a synthetic drug, para sa to kay ma'am, di lang siya pwede i-withdraw dahil then you could also take together. Pwede mo
Sabay.
sabay. Yes, sir.
Pwede po hindi na lang nahiwalayan yung synthetic drugs.
Again, sir.
Pwede ba hindi muna hiwalayan o matagal-tagal ako yun?
Yun na nga, dahan-dahan natin yung withdraw.
Gradual.
Walang
Halimbawa, normal na ang blood sugar, ma'am.
maintain pa rin sa glucose. Yun na nga sinasabi ko, I told her to take 1/2 tablet.
After the 1/2 tablet.
Once no more. Every other day sa 2 weeks. Tapos pag wala din siya nagsaka, pwede na mag-glucose na lang.
So, ano po yung mas maganda do? Kung mag-take ka ng transfer factor, before meal or after meal?
Before.
meal.
It's preferably on an
Absorption.
Before meal?
Absorption. For me.
Para wala complication.
Milk yan. Milk yan. No side effects.
It is
Pwede na siguro hindi kumain yan.
No overdose, no side effects.
Ha?
If there are no questions, yes ma'am.
Ma'am, kung sa right product yung sa mga nag-aubo ma'am, ganun. Permanent.
So kung UTIDA, kailangan mag-take. Take of UTIDA, transfer factor plus. So if there are no more questions, I yes ma'am.
Ako daw po, 7 years old, balik-balik yan. Kasi maayos sa iyo.
Transfer factor plus, 1 capsule times a day.
7 years old.